Hello lovely people, hello. Sorry, that came out really weird. I've just got in, actually I'm quite warm. It's a really grotty day out there today. In fact, it's the first inclement day since I've been here. So yeah, 2.5 weeks or so of beautiful wall-to-wall sunshine, and now, now it's just horrible. Just get my hanky, I might need my hanky. Yeah, windy and rainy, but you know what, that's okay, because honestly I've been going full pelt since getting here. Look at me. Full pelt. Actually, I think I don't look too bad considering what's been going on. So all I've done, I've been out to do my weekly shop, and the rest of today I'm going to I'm sort of going to chill a bit. I've got myriad scraps of paper everywhere, so I'm going to gather all my scraps together, all my notes and dates when things need to happen and things to do, and I'm going to have a lovely, happy couple of hours sitting on the living room floor, sprawled out on the floor. I'll put a DVD on or something. I might make a mug of hot chocolate, and just start working on the plan for the next couple of weeks. I need that. I need to have some, I need some planning now, because it's all been just sort of, like I said the other day, a bit of everything every day. So I'd like to now, not exactly a routine, but yeah, start to be normal in a way. But yes, so having come back, I'm wet. I've got a hoodie, I've got a dry one waiting, and my wet hoodie are just on the rad, and I suddenly thought, ooh, this, and I'm going to talk about a find today in a second, but this is a beautiful door hook. You see, it's sort of ceramic, the little knob is ceramic, so it's gentle if you put a hood on there, and then metal. And I had that in my bathroom in London, found it at a charity shop. It's the usual thing with me. I think it was £1, and I thought that's really pretty and it's well made, thank you very much. So when I left, obviously I took it down and brought it with me, and I'm thinking, if I put it on the back of the kitchen door's always open, so it sort of backs onto that radiator, so it's going to be the perfect spot when I come in. I need to invest in I don't have any coats, I don't own a coat. I'm going to invest in a sort of semi-waterproof, you know, like a sort of an anorak. Anorak? Are they still called anoraks? You know, the kind of thing. The sort of thing that I would tease my sister for having and call her an SW. Serious walker. So anyway, but the point is, if it's on the back of the door, the radiator is there, so there's a bit of warmth, but also if it drips on the floor, no matter, I can mop up on the floor. Yay! So that's going to have its new home. Fab. And just now, where should I pop it? Just now on the way back, I've done my weekly shop. I've popped in a couple of other places too, some places I haven't mentioned yet. There's a fab, so I've mentioned Nixon's quite a few times. That's the hardware store, big hardware store, and homewares and all sorts. There's also Bert's Bits. It's a great name for a shop, Bert's Bits, and all sorts of stationery and all of that. Oh, I've bought myself a new pinboard. I've bought a second pinboard, one for the kitchen. It's the one for the kitchen. So I have one that's all about my work and scheduling myself, but the one for the kitchen is going to be for things like when I'm snipping out of the newspaper, I'm snipping clips out of adverts for handyman or gutter specialists or roof specialists, that sort of thing. So it's going to be my notice board for fixing up the flat and the building. Brilliant. So that was from Bert's Bits, and yeah, today I've just been in and bought an A4 pad because I've got tons of scraps of paper, which is great for, like, you know, hold on. you know, cut-up envelopes. You can tell it's a cut-up envelope, can't you? Because there's that franking. And then things like a cut-up back of my, the letter from my energy company to inform me, yes, you're on with us now. That's great for, you know, shopping lists and quick ideas, what have you. But sometimes you need a full pad, don't you? I don't know why I'm going on about that. Anyway, that's bits. So on my way back from my food shopping, ostensibly it was a food shop today, plus the A4 pad of paper. There's a charity shop on the way back that I popped in. So you know I love to, if I can find something secondhand, brilliant, rather than buying new. Keeps things out of landfill, doesn't it? And more often than not, it's cheaper. So one thing I want for here that I've been thinking about was some kind of crock pot or grot pot to keep in the kitchen for kitchen scraps if I don't want to take them out to the compost bin straight away. Like a day like today, I might do some cooking later. It's horrible outside. I don't necessarily want to go out to the garden when it's like this. So I need some sort of crock pot. And I was going through all my bits of crockery and I've got nothing with a lid really. Because in London, I used to just have them, I used to make an origami from newspaper, an origami sort of bin for them and then toddle around the corner to my mates with them. But yeah, there are free newspapers around here, but not as many as there used to be in London. And I don't want to take them, I want to leave them for the locals and holiday makers. Anyway, long story short, on my list of things to buy, which includes, you know, a chest of drawers, a kitchen table, it's got big things on there. It's got all sorts of little things too, including some kind of crock for the kitchen to put my kitchen scraps in. It's perfect. It's actually labelled compost. I'm not fussed about having a label. I'll probably have it facing that way in the kitchen. But yeah, it's nice. It's a nice colour. It's a sort of, does it pick up on camera? Yeah, it's a sort of eau de Nil sea spray. Nice little wooden handles. That's comfortable, taking it outside. And then in the lid, obviously I'll give it a good clean. It's got one of these, I think it's like has it got charcoal in it? A charcoal insert to stop any smells wafting up. But look, I mean, it's obviously I'm going to give it a clean, but there's no rust or anything. No rust. £3.50. I don't know what it would be new, but I reckon that's probably going to be £10 new. Do you think I'm near the mark? £3.50, brilliant. So yeah, tick, little things, tick. It's exactly what I was saying the other day about buying second-hand furniture. The joy of rehoming something. It's wonderful, but you can't do it in a hurry. You can't go out. I mean, I've got a checklist in my brain all the time. I have a permanent checklist, but it's that thing of being prepared to come away with nothing. And then the delight, the utter delight on a day when you weren't expecting to find exactly what you need, and then it turns up. Yay! So, while I'm having a little sit, look, that's what I mean about little scraps. These are little scraps of paper I've been jotting on over the last couple of weeks. The title scrap says, Things to Get Used to. So I think this is the perfect moment actually, isn't it? When, you know, having been in for a little while, the things I'm getting used to. What am I getting used to? So this note that I made for myself is, and it's partly why I bought the A4 pad today. Whether, you know, however you do it, however you think of it, we all have systems in our lives, don't we? What I mean by systems is you have your way of doing things, you have your routines, you have your sort of to-do lists, your way of prioritising the work for you and your family, whatever it is. So for instance, my systems, you know, it's things like that the time I spend on the computer in the morning, that's all part of my of my systems. I know I do a couple of hours on the computer in the morning and I'm caught up and I've replied to everyone, emails, whatever it is. And part of the systems as well is things like the day of the week that you go and do your weekly shop, for example. The day of the week, if you're a batch cooker, you know, probably a Sunday for a lot of people, isn't it? The day of the month that certain bills get paid. So, for instance, with the gas and electricity, I know it gets paid on a certain date, so I know therefore which date I need to take my meter readings. Well, at the moment, so many of my systems have ceased to exist. So, for example, with the bills, I'm still waiting for my first bills and they're going to then settle down. So some of my bills I know I'm going to get not on what will become their usual day. They're going to be on an unusual day because it's my starting bill. So yeah, it's just that thing of working out, well, when will I do my meter readings? I'm not sure. And that's the tiniest little thing. But as an example, it's sort of, if you multiply that by 100 things or 200 things, suddenly you realise that without one's systems, suddenly every day I'm juggling everything rather than being able to sort of not juggle something because I know that that's something that happens in 2 weeks, if you see what I mean. Also reason for having the A4 pad. So yeah, the little things are coming back into place, little routines are happening, little systems are looking recognisable to me again. And it's not about having everything exactly as it was in London. You know, this is a different life here. It's just having enough that's recognisable so that I can just relax a bit and not be thinking about everything all the time. Yeah, that takes getting used to. What do I say I need to get used to? Oh yes. The fairly constant comings and goings at the front door here. There's 2 reasons I need to get used to it. One, because I've moved to the ground floor. I'm completely aware every time that front door opens. Where of course in London I was on the top floor. I never knew when that front door was opening and closing. I didn't know. I mean, I knew when Pauline was going out because I'd hear her internal front door just below me. I could hear that shut. But generally, the comings and goings in that building, I was oblivious to because I was high up in the sky, up in my little ivory tower of ignorant bliss. Whereas here, yeah, because also having my desk in the window, which is so lovely, just all that light, and also just nosying in the street, watching the comings and goings, watching when a lorry pulls up, a van, when a van pulls up and I think, oh, is this my delivery of washing liquid, for example. But yeah, it was really disconcerting for a couple of days because above me it's an Airbnb, it's a holiday let, and I think in the first week it was different guests every single night. So in other words, all the guests, each lot of guests only stayed one night. So yeah, quite a lot of comings and goings. Getting used to it. And I don't mind it. I've never been one to, I don't want to be isolated from other human beings. And I think one of the reasons I felt that I knew Swanage would work for me is because it is a really busy little town, and season in particular. But I like that. I like hustle and bustle. I like people. I like knowing there's humanity all around me. I like hearing people walking down the street laughing, you know, or someone walking down the street really trying to encourage their dog up the hill, an old dog, or, you know, looking out the window and seeing a cyclist. It reminds me of Belleville Rendezvous. You know, they're over their handlebars, straining, groaning, getting up Cardiac Hill. So yeah, the front door thing, it did take a bit of getting used to. I'm getting used to it. But like I said, I don't mind it. It's my fellow human beings, and I like knowing that there are people around. Oh yeah, but one of them, oh my goodness, one of those guests, I don't know why people let their kids behave like this. One of those guests, there was a kid with a basketball, and apparently they were being allowed to dribble the basketball up and down the hall that's above my hall. Insane making. I didn't go upstairs and say anything. But the next day, I was out. I've started pruning the monster outside, the bush, not the child. I'm not pruning children. And I saw the lovely P&B. They were coming in to do the clean after the guests had gone, and they'd been waiting outside for the guests to leave. And this kid was out in the street with the basketball. And when they came in, we were just chatting, saying, "Morning, hello, how are you? How's it going?" And I said, "Oh my God, that kid was driving me insane last night with the basketball up and down the hall at 10 o'clock last night." And they said, "Oh, you must go upstairs and tell them to stop it." So I said, thank you. I was concerned because obviously that's their business. I don't want to go upstairs and say, "Oh, not that I would." Why would I suddenly turn into an oik? But yeah, they said, do not let guests disturb you. If you're being disturbed, you absolutely must go and say something to them. So I was really pleased that they said that. So I thought, oh, okay, for future reference. I hope I don't have a basketball kid again for a long time. But yeah, again, getting used to it. This is a big one. And I sort of, especially those first few days, I was lugging boxes around, and on the very, very first day, I'd sort of said to the removals chaps where to plonk furniture. And then after they left, I straight away thought, no, it's the wrong place, I don't like it there. So I was moving furniture around, moving boxes, lifting, all this. I ached all over. I think I was mentioning in an early video about these muscles here, the trapeziums. It was a happy ache, it was a good ache. And of course, normally, how do you solve those aches? You go and lie in a bathtub for an hour. Keep topping up the hot. So yeah, in that first week, I really, really missed having a bath. I like the shower. I'm completely used to that room now, having no window, because I'm in there for 10 minutes and that's it. Have a shower, done, out. And I mentioned in a previous video or comments, I found the isolator switch. So with that fan, so during the daytime when I'm just popping in to wash my paws, the fan is off. It's off all the time until I go to have a shower, then I put it on. So I'm happy to have the showers, I'm used to it, but I did miss my tub in the first week or so. I'm going to look at getting maybe some kind of little stool to have in there. I don't need it in terms of mobility. I don't need it from that point of view. I'm not an old woman. People keep suggesting things to me as if I'm 97, not 57. Bless your cotton socks. I meant more in terms of to just be able to sit under the water and have it as a sort of that relaxation. But in actual fact, the water the way the shower comes out is really close to the walls. Anyway, that's a possibility. But yes, definitely getting used to not just not having a bath, but that shower room in particular. And it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me anymore. Oh, this was a funny one to begin with. In my first few days, and even now, I've got used to this now. It's a question. It's like, where did I put my card in? Oh, it's over my knees. This is a question I get asked virtually by everyone. And I realised it within my first day here, because within the first day I met both sets of neighbours and my postie. And I say, hello, I'm Vivi, I've just moved in, I'm your new neighbour, for example. The first question they say, and it's usually worded the same by everyone, is, are you permanent? And I understand the question. If I'm just another of these blimmin' rich people from out of town who've bought a second home and are going to Airbnb it, there's no point in them making friends with you because you're not going to be here. So yeah, I keep thinking I need to have a badge that says, yes, I'm permanent. And everyone's face changes as soon as I say, yes, I live here. This is my home. This is where I live. This is where I work. This is where I go shopping and spend my money and support the businesses. This is home. Yeah, attitudes change. It's not that it's a nasty attitude. There's absolutely no nasty attitude whatsoever. It's purely a sort of a disinterest initially, and then, are you permanent? Yes. Ah, okay, right, let's chat. So I'm not just some DFL who's going to do Airbnb. I feel like I'm not a DFL because my family were here and I've been coming backwards and forwards all my life. So please, I'm not a DFL. Down from London. Ah, yes, another one to get used to, the shop closing times. There's no 24-hour shops, well, that I'm aware of, so the food shops. So like I used to have my Turkish supermarket back in London that was open 24/7. But you see, here's the thing. Obviously I kept Swanage a secret during the last 6 months. It's a secret. But for example, there have been so many things that I've been doing and new habits. You know, I talked about all these new habits I've been putting into place. Some of them were New Year's resolutions, some started last summer. Quite a lot of them were to do with this move, all of them maybe. And one of the things I talked about was adjusting my sleep pattern so that I become more of a daytime lass than a nighttime lass. So instead of going to bed at 4 or 5 in the morning and therefore sometimes cooking at 12, midnight, 1, 2 in the morning, I go to bed at 10 or 11, it's turned into 11, so that I can hopefully get up by 7:30, 8 and be up and ready for the day. Part of my thinking with that was partly because of the work that's going to be needed on the building and the flat, and therefore we all know what workmen are like, or you know, the trades, builders and that, they all start at the crack of dawn. They start at like 6 o'clock and finish at 2, so in readiness for that. But also just things like the shops. I knew that I would need to adjust my life to make it more of a daytime life because it's a daytime kind of place. So yeah, getting used to there not being shops open at sort of 11, 12 at night. And actually it's fine because, you know, I planned for my food shopping anyway. I haven't run out of anything at night and thought, oh, I need to pop out and get it, or I can't, because A, I'm more organised and I'm doing stuff in the day, and B, because I wouldn't be cooking at 11 at night anyway. I'm in bed. So that's working out really well. This hasn't affected me yet, but it is something to bear in mind in terms of public transport. There's one bus an hour. Well, that's it. Oh, that's it, baby. Very handily, it's on the hour though, so in terms of remembering. Sorry, there are 2 buses I can take out of here. I can go to Wareham and therefore all the way round to Poole via the land. To Wareham it's about 45 minutes. That's somewhere that I will take you one day, and that's where the auction house is that I want to make friends with. So that's one bus, and there's another bus and it goes out of Swanage, around to Studland. You know, I had that lovely swim. I love Studland so much. And it carries on to the ferry, then you get on the ferry and it hops you over to Sandbanks, and then it carries on to Bournemouth, or jump out at Sandbanks and then get another bus to go round to Poole. Put it this way, so I've got an itchy shoulder, it's not like London buses, and I kind of like that. So if I am going to be taking a bus anywhere, I'll need to plan it a bit more and make sure I'm at the bus stop in good time. It's not, that wouldn't be so much going from here, because this is the terminus, so if the timetable says 12 noon, the bus is leaving, it'll be 12 noon. That's fine. It's more about coming back. So if the Wareham bus is, I don't know, say I was coming back and it's the 4:40 bus, I'd want to make sure I'm at the bus stop by 4:30, give it a good 10 minutes in case it's running early. Crowds. The crowds. Today, for example, because it's raining, The streets are much clearer in some ways. In some parts of the streets they were clearer. There's hardly anyone on the beach today. There are some hardy souls playing on the beach, good for them. But you can, the shops and the cafes and restaurants are rammed, absolutely rammed. Oh, these poor souls who've come for the weekend and it's chucking down. Hopefully they're going to have a nice cream tea or good fish and chips to make up for it. But yeah, it's funny, isn't it, coming from London and thinking I've got to get used to crowds. It's busy. Oh yes, this is one to get used to. It's colder here. Of course it is. And this will actually impact on the gardening. So, of course, living in London, in a city always has a microclimate. Cities are always warmer than surrounding areas. You'll hear on the weather forecast, they'll say, you know, it could be down to 0, or in rural areas, -3. There's less protection. So I've gone, in terms of gardening, I've gone from a zone 9 to a zone 8 here. So it's definitely cooler, it's fresher, love it. The house itself is definitely cooler because where I was up in the attic, in the loft, it was never an attic, it was always residential dwelling. But with the sun beating down on those 45-degree angle, that mansard roof facing south, wow, it warmed that place up. Here, ground floor, that's cooler anyway, but also huge, thick stone walls. That outside heat hardly has a chance, which means, in the summer, when it's really hot in the summer, it'll be beautifully cool in the flat. It just means that in the winter, it's going to be horribly cold in the flat until I, sort things out. But yeah, I remember the 2 days of the move, I'd looked at the forecast both for London and for Swanage because obviously I was hoping for dry weather for the move. And on the day that I left London, so it was the 3rd of April, so quite early in the year still, the temperature, it said 18 to 20 degrees in London that day. Swanage, 13. It's a big drop down, but that's fine, getting used to it. I need to get a bit more water, give me a tick. Okay, I realise I've been rattling on for some time, so I'm going to just quickly go through this last couple of things and wrap up. The other one, this kind of is part of my systems thing that I was mentioning. A weird thing to get used to is I don't have a little black book for here, and by that I don't mean numbers for hookups. Oh no, I mean a little black book in terms of contacts, useful contacts. So for instance, my fabulous Mel, my boiler man, my what's the Super Mario? He looked like Super Mario. So back in London, obviously having contacts for say plumbing and the gas, and friends with a truck or carpenters, that sort of thing. I don't know anyone here, so there have been a couple of times I've thought, I don't know who to ask, hence the pinboard in the kitchen to build up my new contacts. And one of the ways I will be doing that is I've joined the local Facebook group. That's great, that's been great. I wasn't even sure what it was called, but where did I hear it mentioned? It might have been at the library, and I thought, so I googled it, saw, this is the local Facebook group, brilliant, applied to join, awaited admin approval, got approval, and the first thing I did on there was advertise my house moving boxes. As I mentioned the other day, they flew 2 seconds and they were gone. But yeah, that's a really, a local Facebook group, great resource, and that's how I can start to put feelers out to say, can anyone recommend a stonemason? If I need a stonemason. Why was that my first thought? I'm just obsessing about the Purbeck stone. When I look out of the window there, it's the side elevation of a sweet little property next street over. But I just see this beautiful wall of Purbeck stone, and yeah, it makes my heart sing. So yes, I need to build up my little black book for Swanage. Don't be naughty. Yeah, finally, I think, deliveries are so easy here. Oh, the joy. That delivery for the washing line from my mum, she bought a night, that's still in the ether. I don't know what she did. I think she might have done the wrong address. I'm not sure. But everything else has been so easy because so often I'm in the front room, I'm at my desk, I'm either editing or I'm writing or whatever, and I see them pull up and I wave out of the window and the driver will wave. And by the time he's getting out the truck, I've gone to the door, I'm on the doorstep. And it just seems like such a much more civilised way of greeting each other. I love it, I love it. So that's a revelation and a joy, and I'm so used to it already. But the other thing is doorstep recycling and the rubbish collection. I was just so used to it in London, but it is a pain coming down all those stairs, 11 o'clock at night with your bag of rubbish on a Monday after 11 o'clock, it's Tuesday morning pickup, lugging it all the way down the stairs. I've got my keys in my hand because then I close the front door behind me, walk up the street to my collection point and dump my bag at the collection point, walk back home, unlock the front door, go all the way back up the stairs just for a bit of rubbish. Whereas here, it's right there, it's on my doorstep. I know some of you are going to think I'm bonkers for saying that because it's what most people have. But yes, that has turned into, that's my little bit of joy each week, is going out and putting my paper or I had excess jam jars without lids, so no use, putting things out to the recycling. I say, I'll just pop out to do the rubbish, done, back in a second later. It's fab. Loving it. Loving life, full stop. Loving a compost crock tin for £3.50. Oh, like I said, if you're not in a hurry to furnish your home and to get all your bits and bobs, try second hand. You never know. You save yourself a small fortune. I do, and I love it. Right, I think I need to go and get the screwdriver out to get that up and make that mug of chocolate, get myself settled on the living room floor with paper everywhere and mess, so that I can get myself organised and hopefully sail into the next 2 weeks knowing what I'm supposed to be doing when I get up, and stop being distracted by the sea, Vivi. It's distracting me. What a wonderful distraction. All right, lovelies, I will see you really soon. Hopefully, I don't know, just waiting for the weather to cheer up a bit so we can get into the garden. We'll see. Until the next one, cheerio.